What is up, Mizzou fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, covering your Missouri Tigers. And Mizzou fans just got some great news about the future of the program and Eli Drinkwitz. I'm going to be reacting to all that and more right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, Missouri Tigers fans, welcome back into another Mizzou football YouTube video here on the Show Me Football YouTube channel. Before we get into the news, I do kindly want to ask you all to please like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this. Make sure you go ahead and hit that notification bell as well for future Mizzou content on this channel. But without further ado, let's get into it. So breaking news from Pete Thamel this morning. Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz has agreed to a new contract with the school. He announced, per ESPN sources, there's an increase in salary for Drinkwitz to an average of more than $10.7 million a year over the deal, and an increased commitment to staff and salary pool. So there it is, folks. Eli Drinkwitz extended, future no longer in doubt. Coaching carousel rumors shut down. He is here to stay. And boy, is this massive. Now, it didn't catch us by surprise really at all, because if you had been paying attention over the past couple of days, there were rumblings that the board of curators were getting together and meeting the day before Thanksgiving. Now it is Thanksgiving. By the way, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Drinksgiving. Drinkwitz extended on Thanksgiving. I mean, what a treat, right? But board of curators met the day before Thanksgiving, which is a little unusual unless something big is going down. And then Gabe DeArmond of Power Mizzou, Eli Hoff of the Post-Dispatch, all of a sudden they did some digging, found out they were getting together to discuss an Eli Drinkwitz contract extension. And soon after that, we got the news that Eli Drinkwitz was signing that extension. I don't think you let that get out publicly unless you knew for sure that Eli Drinkwitz was going to say yes to it, unless you knew Eli Drinkwitz, had agreed to stay at Mizzou. And of course, that's what happened. And I just cannot overstate how huge it is for Mizzou to get this done prior to the end of the season. Since the coaching carousel rumors and the rumors of Penn State, LSU, Florida, and I'll talk about, kind of all those in a minute and why I think we ultimately got this result of Drinkwitz staying at Mizzou. But throughout all of that, it just kind of was a gray cloud hanging over this season. I do think it affected the team to an extent, to a degree. And it's just like, you never felt quite right about this team. You never quite felt right about this, being a Mizzou fan with all these rumors out there, with the uncertainty of knowing what Eli Drinkwitz was going to do. And he shuts it down before the end of the season, before the Arkansas game, which is still a big game for this team. Make no mistake. I mean, that's Drinkwitz's home state, his hometown. He grew up an Arkansas fan. His family is full of Arkansas fans. So it really just feels good to get this done. And now he's reaffirmed that commitment to his players. He's reaffirmed that commitment to his high school recruits that are about to sign here in a couple of weeks. And that's all very important, because you had a lot of guys that I think were sitting around wondering what Drinkwitz is going to do. Now he has a chance to say, hey, I'm staying here. Don't you think about entering the portal? Don't you think about decommitting? And of course, there will still be some guys probably that hit the portal, and there's going to be some signing day drama, I would imagine. That's just how it is in the NIL portal era. But with all of the uncertainty this offseason in the SEC, all the head coaching carousel, this was a big opportunity for Eli Drinkwitz to stay at Mizzou, with a renewed NIL commitment, renewed staff pool, and just go absolutely ham in the transfer portal, because there's a lot of teams out there that have fired their head coach, and their coach is not going to be Eli Drinkwitz. Eli Drinkwitz is going to be sticking at Mizzou, where he's already built a very strong, very tough culture, and he's going to be able to sell the stability of his program in the portal to recruits. And I do want to pull up this statement here from Laird Veach. This was posted on the Mizzou X account. Under his vision and leadership, Coach Drinkwitz has transformed the standard for Mizzou football and united our entire program and fan base behind a clear pursuit of excellence, Veach said. We're thrilled he will continue leading our team into the future. This is an incredible time for our program. Our unprecedented 20-game home sellout streak speaks to our fans' tremendous passion and commitment, while the Memorial Stadium Centennial Project reflects our growing sustained investment in Mizzou football. And then the most important part here, I think, it's also critically important that we continue providing Coach Drinkwitz with the resources necessary to build and develop championship rosters in the SEC. This new contract reflects our commitment to further strengthening and enhancing those resources. Our will to win is clear. We're fully aligned behind Coach Drinkwitz and eager to keep building with him as he leads this program forward in the pursuit of championships. So I wanted to mention this because a lot of the conversation the past couple of weeks, because you heard it on the TV broadcast during the Mizzou games, was the commentators talked about how Drinkwitz in the pre-production meeting said, in order to stay here, I need alignment. I need more NIL commitment. I need more investment from the Fortune 500 companies to truly build a top of the SEC roster. Mizzou said, done. We're giving you that. This new contract is coming with an increased NIL commitment. It's coming with an increased staff pool. I do expect changes to the staff this offseason, and that's just huge for Mizzou. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Drinkwitz, this has to make you feel good about being a Mizzou fan because you were able to hang on to your coach with openings at Florida, with openings at LSU, at Auburn, Penn State. And your coach said, I'm sticking at Mizzou because Mizzou said, we're stepping up our commitment. We're stepping up our resources. We are serious about competing in this league. And that's just not something that we've been able to say really since Mizzou has joined the SEC. They are one of the big dogs. They are playing like the big boys. They are shelling out money like one of the big boys, like they are one. Now, Drinkwitz is yet to get us to where we want to be. He did fall short of expectations this year, without a doubt. And I know a lot of people will say, he has shortcomings as a coach. I agree. But he's still extremely young. And when you look at the pool of candidates that were out there, if Drinkwitz had left, it's very unlikely that Mizzou would have found a coach that would be just as good, if not better than Eli Drinkwitz if he were to leave. You don't want to be competing with LSU and Florida in their coaching searches. There was a lot of openings this year. Dominoes had already started to fall. Eric Morris was a guy I was really interested in, the North Texas head coach. If Drink had left, well, he went to Oklahoma State a couple days ago. So he's off the table. So I think then it became imperative that Mizzou holds on to Drinkwitz because you weren't really getting any better. I mean, who was out there that you were going to hire that was going to be better than Drinkwitz? Not saying that you couldn't find a better coach than Drinkwitz, but I think the best thing for Mizzou is to hang on to their coach, have that stability. It's really, really hard to start over. And granted, I don't want to make it sound like it would have destroyed Mizzou as a program if Drinkwitz had left, because I think in the NIL and portal era, a new coach can come in and quickly pick up where the last coach left off. But what I really wanted was for Eli Drinkwitz to be our coach for a very long time, to be our version of Nick Saban. Not saying that he'll ever be as good as Nick Saban, but someone that when you think of Mizzou, you think of Eli Drinkwitz, someone that's synonymous with your football program, that's synonymous with the state. When you think about the state of Missouri, that's what I wanted Drinkwitz to be. And that's kind of what I think we're getting now, that Drinkwitz has decided to stick at Mizzou. And to give him, over $10 million a year, almost $11 million a year. I mean, that's incredible commitment. I am proud of this university for stepping up to the plate and paying him, whatever it took to keep him, not just in salary, but again, assistant pool, NIL, that's all huge for this program. And Drinkwitz, I like I said, I think he's instilled a very, very strong culture. His players love playing for him. You can never once say that they ever quit on him, that they've ever rolled over. And even though this season was a bit of a disappointment, ultimately Mizzou's still probably going to end up with 8 or 9 wins, including a bowl game. And he's going to take that again into the portal. And you look at this last 3-year stretch, 10 or 11 wins, 10 wins, 8 or 9 wins. This is about as successful of a 3-year stretch that's ever been had at the University of Missouri. So I think anyone that was suggesting Mizzou was better off without Drinkwitz, that they wanted Drinkwitz to leave, I always think that was reactionary. You need to step back for a moment and appreciate the 3-year run that Mizzou has been on with their coach. And I think Drinkwitz is an elite program builder. I think he's an elite CEO. He's elite at navigating NIL and the portal in this modern era of college football. He's made Mizzou relevant. He's a polarizing personality, which is what I think Mizzou needs as the head coach. I was tired of the old, blue collar, typical Midwestern guy as Mizzou head coach. No, I want Eli Drinkwitz as Mizzou head coach. I want him to be successful, and he's earned the benefit of the doubt. He's earned the time to see things through, despite what anyone says about him and what you might think of his in-game coaching. And yeah, I think it needs to improve. I won't push back against that at all. I do think Eli Drinkwitz needs to make some changes. I think he has the resources now to make the necessary changes. And I'm just very excited about what this offseason holds now that you have Eli Drinkwitz in the fold going forward. 6-year extension, $11 million a year, all the resources in the world. He's here to stay. Mizzou as a program is here to stay. This is great news, in my opinion. Really, really glad that Mizzou got this done. Really glad they got it done before the end of the season. And one more thing that I will add, because I said I was going to talk about Florida, Penn State, LSU, kind of what I think happened. Because some people will say, oh, well, Drinkwitz is just staying at Mizzou because he had no other options. Well, maybe, but also, like, who cares? And also, like, I do think Drinkwitz could have dragged this out into the offseason and maybe gotten the job at Auburn or at Penn State. There was rumors out there on message boards that Penn State hadn't offered a Drinkwitz. Mizzou matched or even topped it. So what I think happened, though, ultimately, is I think the LSU opening was one that Drinkwitz had his eye on. I think Drinkwitz was second on the list to Lane Kiffin. It sounds like Lane Kiffin is going to LSU. And with that being the case, Drinkwitz said, well, I'm sticking at Missouri because that was the one job that I probably would have left for. And LSU is the one job that I think most people would have been like, yeah, I understand that. I understand Drinkwitz taking that one. But that did not happen. Looks like it's not going to happen. Mizzou's going to hang on to Drink. And look, I don't think that's anything other than a good thing. So those are my thoughts on Drinkwitz getting extended, this breaking news on the day of Thanksgiving. I'm going to go ahead, and wrap this one up. Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on Drinkwitz getting extended. Definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts down below, what your opinion is. With all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. Follow the X account at showmefb. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, MIZ.